And let's switch to another example. And let's try to add a global constraint. Again, add a custom constraint. Give it some name. And now we want to keep it global. So the constraint that I'm trying to implement right now is if we have two cells that see each other diagonally like that, and the distance between them is 2, cannot have the same digit. So basically it's not a lot different from coding a local constraint. The only difference is that we keep the global constraint checkmark on, and input, we don't specify like any input groups, and we need to understand by ourselves like which cells we apply the constraint to. So for instance, if we want to apply some constraints to all cells knights move apart, then we could iterate on all these pairs of cells by using a helper, and let's say a new different digits component. So that's, for instance, the way to implement anti-knight by yourself. Like basically, if you're coding a global constraint, that you need to prepare all pairs or lines or whatever you do, or quadruples, all individual pairs of cells that you apply the constraint to by yourself with the code. Maybe manually, maybe by using some helpers. So let's do anti-checkers instead of anti-knight. So what we need to do is just go over all coordinates, and so meanwhile I could tell about the coordinates system here. So basically the coordinates start here, and they are 0 based. So for the x we have x equals 0, x equals 1, x equals 2, and so forth. And for the y we have it in this direction, starting from 0 here, adding in 8 here. So we can iterate over all coordinates, and there is a helper inside of cell IDs that transforms coordinates into the local representation of cells. And I will explain what is cell ID in a moment. Actually, let's do it here, because we already have the helpers here. So if we, for instance, want to know the internal representation for this cell, that x equals 2, y equals 0. And it returns a 2. Or if we want this cell, then it's y equals to 7, because it's 0 base. So basically all cell coordinates inside of Sudoku Maker are represented as numbers, and basically it's the numbers that starts from here and continues in the reading direction. So it's 0, 1, 2, blah blah blah, 9, 10, 11, 18, 19. But we don't really need to know that. We just need to know that if we want to specify a cell for any method, any constraint, any component, like anything inside of Sudoku Maker, we need cell ID, not the cell coordinates. Like, actually, if we log group cells, then we can see that it doesn't have the coordinates. Like, I think this one was the first line, so that's the first input group, and we see that it has 5 and 15. 5 is this one, 15 is this one. And of course we have the backwards conversion for that, so we can know coordinates by cell ID. So what is 15? Well, that's a cell with coordinates 6 and 1, which is this one. Okay, now that we know that, we can return here. So we take two cells apart. So one of them is in the current location, one of them is 2 cells apart. And now we say that they are different. And now we can do the same for the, let's call it the positive diagonal. So cells that are like in this direction. And it looks like I messed up. Yeah, for instance, we don't know this one anymore. Different chords from AD. Oh, yeah, of course. I get ID from chords. That's when I messed up. Okay, so now we should have it. Let's check if it works. Puzzle is impossible. That's actually unfortunate, but let's check if it works. So if we did everything the correct way, that we should exclude 8 from here, 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 and here. And indeed, there's no 8 in either of these. And yeah, I know that it's impossible. That's actually quite strange that it tells us that the puzzle is impossible. I tested it earlier. Little killers, odd digits. Well, I don't really need to do it right now, but we can see that it's able to do logical deductions based on that. For instance, soon it will understand that there's no 8 here, so one of these cells is not an 8, so none of these cells could be an 8. Because it sees one of them by Sudoku, one of them by anti-checkers. So let's see. Yeah, looks like it's... Oh, that's exactly when it did it. Point and pair in row 3. Removed 8 from these cells as well. Yeah, so it works perfectly, so I don't know why it tells that the puzzle is impossible. I probably messed up with the inputs somewhere. Oh, right, I did. There's a round circle here. It should be here, actually. Let's check. Yeah, so everything works fine. Phew.